I, 30 male, and my sister, 37 female, used to be very close as kids. In fact, we were a very tight-knit family. My father used to run several convenience stores, and my mother was a housewife. We were a traditional Asian family, and our parents showered us with love and worked very hard to ensure we had a good life. But they also were conservative in their attitudes and outlooks on life. So no surprise that this became a huge issue when my parents saw a picture of my then teen sister kissing another girl on her phone. She was immediately grounded and forced to break up with her then girlfriend. The fighting and arguments were constant from that point on until my sister graduated and left the house and cut contact with us. This was especially hard for me because even through all the fighting, she was close to me. She used to look after me, help me with my homework, and even encourage me to talk to girls and go beyond my social circle. I tried contacting her after I got my first phone, but it was very brief at first and then disappeared altogether. No phone calls, no text, just radio silence. Throughout the years, I used to send her updates about my life and even joined a few pride groups at university to advocate for and understand LGBT people as a straight person. I also hoped that sharing this might bring her back into my life, but eventually, I accepted that she was gone for good. Throughout this time, I blamed my parents for this and resented them for a long time, but we made up when my mother was diagnosed with cancer 6 years ago, and she passed away a year later. After my mother's passing, my dad and I became much closer, and I started to help more with the stores and investment properties. He had a will drawn up and transferred the stores and properties exclusively to me. Unfortunately, he was also getting a lot weaker with years of smoking, the stresses of running a business, and the family drama taking its toll on his health. About a month after he passed away, my sister contacted me for the first time in years, hoping to have a chat. I thought she wanted to mend fences now that my parents had passed away, but as soon as we met, she mentioned the inheritance and she wanted her share. She dodged every question I had about her life and the reason she iced me out with one-word answers and half-hearted replies, quickly returning to the property. So I told her that I was explicitly given everything and she wasn't entitled to anything. She tried to argue that she was being robbed because she was a lesbian and that I was benefiting from my parents' prejudices, but I wasn't having any of it. I politely asked them to leave and felt terrible for the rest of the day. I asked my friends and they were divided. Some say I was right, but others think it was wrong for me to benefit from my parents' bigotry and should have given her her share. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. You tried to contact your sister and keep in touch with her. She decided to be no contact with you. She's only reestablished contact with you for the money. She doesn't want to know you or stay in your life, even though you've done nothing to shun her. You were there to help with the business and make it successful. You helped while your mom was sick, and when your dad passed, you helped build the estate that they passed on to you. You don't need to share it. Exactly this. OP's parents are pretty much irrelevant here. The sister chose to cut contact with her bro. He tried for years with nothing in return. Now that he has something she wants, it's okay to come crawling back? Pretty cheeky to waltz in after no contact expecting you, OP, to get out your checkbook. If she thinks she's entitled to something, she can hire an attorney. As a gay woman who's been cut off from a wealthy family, I am disgusted by her actions. Your parents' wishes should be respected. I'm also rather turned off by how she went straight to the money after your parents passed on, instead of checking in on you when you tried to check in on her when you met again after so long. No love was lost there, sadly. Why should their wishes be respected when their wishes were to punish somebody for being gay? I sometimes think when a person is hurting that badly, the only way to protect themselves from more hurt is to walk away from that old part of their life completely. OP, I do think you should share the inheritance with her. Your parents chose not to support her during their life and hurt the siblings' relationship. Disagree. OP was a child. He had no say in or control over her parents' choices. It started with the parents' reaction to her orientation, but the sister's insistence on cutting out all contact cemented the situation. She basically disowned her family, and here she is looking for money from them. That's not how disowning works. To be honest, she's just as bad a person if all she cares about them is their money. My wife and I have 3 kids, 36 male, 32 female, and 25 female. We have had agreements with all of our kids that we would help pay for up to $10,000 for their weddings or use that same amount towards a down payment on their first home. Both of our oldest kids picked the down payment option. They married and had medium-sized weddings, under 100 guests. They paid for most of their weddings themselves, but we pitched in maybe $1,000 to $2,000 for each of them to help a bit. My youngest got engaged last year and started planning her wedding, which was scheduled for this October. She told us she would like us to help her pay for the wedding instead of a house, since she and her fiancé are more comfortable with apartment living and don't want to put roots down anywhere since they're both young. So she had us put deposits down for a venue, caterer, photographer, and DJ. These deposits totaled over $5,000 and were non-refundable. About 2 months ago, my daughter called to tell us that she and her fiancé had decided to cancel their wedding and get married at a courthouse. She said the wedding planning was too stressful and they would rather just get married legally and spend money on a big honeymoon. She said she wanted us to take the rest of what we have paid for the wedding and put it towards their honeymoon instead. She said they want to take an extra long honeymoon, like 2 to 3 months of travel to multiple destinations. I told her that we would not be contributing money to that. I explained that by canceling their wedding, we've lost out on thousands of dollars and have gotten nothing out of it due to non-refundable deposits. Mind you, we never questioned their choices regarding wedding planning and were not involved in any of the decision making. I just wrote checks to vendors. My daughter's upset and is accusing me of playing favorites with her older siblings and for punishing her because she wants something different for herself. I told her that the situations were not the same and that giving her thousands of dollars for her to burn around Europe and Asia for a few months was never something I agreed to. My wife wants to give our daughter a few thousand to try and even things out, but I am firmly against this. The way I look at it, we've already given her thousands of dollars, and she decided to throw all of that money away, literally. I understand wedding planning is stressful, and if they wanted a courthouse wedding, that's their choice. But it also wasn't their money that they lost by canceling the wedding. It was ours. My daughter thinks I'm being an idiot about this, and my wife just wants to give her the money to keep the peace. But I feel like that completely absolves our daughter of what her decisions have cost us. I don't want to pay for her wanderlust after she cost me thousands of dollars. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. She wasted $5,000. No way I'd give her more money. If she had asked for the money for a honeymoon up front because she wanted to do a courthouse wedding instead, then that's one thing. But to be so disrespectful with your gift and then ask for more is incredibly entitled. I'm also curious what jobs they have that they can take a multi-month honeymoon. Just tell your daughter that the $10,000 offer was for a wedding or a house deposit, nothing else. So now there's approximately $5,000 left. The $5,000 remainder can be put towards a house deposit at some point in the future, or when they want to buy a house. I can understand the frustration that $5,000 has been wasted, and your daughter doesn't seem to care that you've worked hard for that money. I don't think she had a right to change plans without reimbursing her parents. She literally threw their money away and felt entitled to do so because it's my wedding. No. You take someone else's money, then you use it for the intended purpose, or you give it back. I've 30 male, been working for my company for 7 years now, 5 of which have been spent on my current team. There are 15 people on it, and we're all pretty close. I have a coworker named Bob, 33 male, who joined the team when I did. During the global issue, he announced to everyone on a Zoom meeting that he was now engaged. Fast forward to this January, and Bob says that his wedding will be held this year at a really beautiful winery. About 5 months ago, the invites started coming in for everyone on the team, but mine didn't. I waited a few weeks, but nothing came. So I asked Bob if my invite got sent out. He gave me a solemn look and then told me I wasn't invited because of a spacing issue. He said he tried to make it work but just couldn't, and hoped I didn't take it personally. He also said I'd be sure to get wedding favors and a piece of cake. He also asked me to keep it to myself and please not make a big deal out of it. I honestly didn't know what to say, so I guess I just said, okay, and walked away. I won't lie, I was upset. I hated feeling excluded, and it was doubly worse because everyone else on the team was going except for me. And honestly, I really like weddings. They're usually enjoyable. I kept it to myself, but I wasn't happy. The day of the wedding came 3 weeks ago, and it went by without a hitch. Everyone on my team had a grand time and said it was beautiful. The food and the party were great as well. And apparently, everyone got a dozen fresh apple cider donuts to take home. I never did get that cake or wedding favors, by the way. At work the following Monday, my team member, Sherry, told me that everyone was confused about where I was. Apparently, Bob said that I was sick and couldn't make it. I was confused and then angry. I straight up told her that I wasn't invited and left it at that. She looked shocked and asked me to confirm, and I said yes, I wasn't invited. Well, Sherry told someone because about 5 people asked me if I wasn't invited, and I said it was true. Today was Bob's first day back from his honeymoon, and it must have gotten back to him that I spilled the beans. He approached me in the break room, and he was upset that I told Sherry and that it wasn't a big deal that I missed the wedding. So I said, how would you like to be excluded from something everyone else was going to? We went back and forth a bit before Bob walked away. I was pretty upset, and my project manager came to ask me if I was okay because she had heard about me not being invited. I didn't want this to go this far, so I said yes. But other team members came up to me and said that Bob should have invited me, and it was wrong that he didn't. Look, I realized that it was his wedding day, and he's allowed to invite who he wants, but I'm allowed to be upset that I wasn't invited, right? So, am I the idiot for telling people that I wasn't invited to the wedding and being upset about it? Not the idiot. You didn't ruin his wedding day, and you didn't say anything before the wedding, nor make a big deal out of it. Bob lied to your colleagues about why you couldn't attend, which is incredibly bizarre and a major idiot move. You just corrected his mistake. If he was worried about what people would think if he didn't invite you, he should have invited you. It's his wedding and he can do whatever he wants, but obviously, people will find out, and he can't expect you to lie on his behalf. I also don't believe it was just a spacing issue. I think there was an issue, and Bob is not being forthcoming. I'm not sure what you did to Bob to make him not invite you, but it really feels like there's more to this story on his side. I'm sure in the coming weeks it'll come out. LOL. This happened yesterday. It was my day off. My boyfriend, 33, called me saying he was sick and asked me to come over to help. I went to his house, called the doctor's office for him, went to 2 different pharmacies, organized his medication into dose boxes, cleaned his house, made a list, and ordered his shopping for him. Then I picked up his daughter for a visit, over a 40-minute drive. And when he asked me to order his favorite takeaway, he told me to pay for it. I did that and went upstairs to shower till the food arrived. In 20 minutes, I came downstairs to see that he had eaten the whole thing and didn't save me anything. I asked where my dinner was, and he said, "What dinner?" Then explained that the food was for him and not us. I blew up at him saying I paid for it out of pocket. He said, "Well, I didn't figure you were hungry." I said that I sacrificed my day off and was running around cleaning, giving meds, making appointments, etc., and was exhausted and hungry and needed this food. We got into an argument, and I decided to go home. He started texting saying that he was relying on me, staying the night with him, since he was still pretty much sick. He said I overreacted, was unsupportive, and abandoned him while he was sick over some food. I turned my phone off for the night, but the amount of missed calls and texts I woke up to was massive. Even his family, his mom, gave me a stern talk earlier because of it. Although I explained what happened, she called me petty. I feel guilty and like I'm a crappy person for going home like that. Am I the idiot for reacting like that? Edit. He has a chronic condition. He frequently gets sick, and I try to do all I can to make things easier for him. His daughter suffers from the same condition. As a nurse, I can honestly say that managing and dealing with a chronic condition can have a physical and mental toll on the patient, so it's understandable he asked for help. The issue was about the food. Are you his girlfriend or his nursemaid? I'm sorry he has a chronic illness, but he has to manage it, not you. If he has the strength to wolf down 2 meals, then he has the strength to make his appointments, organize his own medicine, make a shopping list, and place an order. Stop making these things your responsibility because they're not. And why must you pay for his meals? I'm sorry, but this man is using you. You're a fully grown adult, and his mother felt entitled to give you a stern talk? I think he needs a stern talk to remind him that being sick is no excuse for treating your partner with zero consideration and respect. He's coming across as incredibly entitled, as well as lacking empathy. Tell his mommy that if she's so worried about her baby, she can go take care of him. Are you sure he's 33 and not 3? He's acting like a spoiled child. Don't enable it, and don't tolerate it. I'd personally just cut the loss and end it. OP, you're the maid, chef, housekeeper, and babysitter. And when you don't do as much as he thinks you should, he emotionally abuses you and complains to his mommy. Why are you dating someone who treats you so poorly and allows his mother to pile on and add to your stress? You can do so much better. It's concerning that you would even think you're at fault. A good therapist can help you set healthy boundaries. Your needs need to come first for you. I have a daughter, tween, with my ex-girlfriend. We broke up before she was born, and I know it was my fault because I was an awful boyfriend and cheated on her and other things. But I've changed. She didn't tell me about my child until a while ago when I accidentally found out about her, suspected she might be mine, and got a DNA test to confirm. I've been trying to be involved in her life, but my ex makes it very hard for me. I know she's still mad at me for what I did when we were together, but she's poisoning my daughter's mind and turning her against me. The other day she asked me why I cheated on her mom. Who says that to their child? Now every time she's with me, she misbehaves. I've been showering her with gifts and attention, but she's always like, I wish you weren't my dad, even though I've been nice to her. So a week ago, I finally snapped and told her I wouldn't be her dad then. I still prepared food for her, took her to school, and ensured she had everything that she needed. But I didn't give her gifts, didn't play with her, or talk to her for a week. My parents say I'm an idiot, but I think it was good for her. She didn't tell you about your daughter because you were a toxic person and she wanted nothing to do with you. You then shoehorned yourself into this child's life and have a tantrum when she doesn't like you? You are the idiot. You need to stop kidding yourself. This girl wants nothing to do with you, nor does her mom, and you're not helping yourself by forcing yourself into their lives. If you care about your daughter, you must leave her alone. Let her know you'll be there for her, if and when she wants you to be. But right now, you're acting like the step-parent who forces the kid who doesn't know them to call you dad. I tried love bombing her, and it didn't immediately win her over, so I punished her with the silent treatment. Yikes, OP! Why are you trying to bribe her? You need family counseling with the two of you to work through all of these issues.